Welcome to maybe like the fifth edition of Fake Lulz. Pete is out of town, so Davis has been nice enough to come on board and talk with me for a little bit here. Before he's got he's a mover and a shaker now. He's got some big meetings coming up, so it's going to be a
Huge
super
meetings.
long one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
Davis,
get calls.
go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life. Actually, it's like so funny. I feel like I've been working more. I've been at my desk more this week than in the preceding weeks, just trying to figure out what's going on. Trying to learn YouTube. What is YouTube? What do you do with YouTube? Do you make money off it? Is it a marketing tool? What do you do? So it's all it's all new and scary right now, Brian.
I think what is that, a sign of being fake young? Because the casual Davis Maddock observer, I think, would think how to do
all about YouTube
graphic stuff. You would know how YouTube works, etc. Because you're constantly on it.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, I have a rough sense of like, oh, this is what works on YouTube. This, and like Liam and Pete have told me, like, yeah, don't get into the 3-hour long streaming game. It's not a great monetization stream. Not a great revenue stream way. But in terms of like graphic design and setting up thumbnails and backgrounds, like I don't even have a StreamYard subscription, actually. Like I don't even like linking that all together. That's going to be there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, like regardless of what I end up doing.
I have I'm not good at it either. As you can see, I'm using like the background from Endgame and my logo. Syndicate. It's just a hodgepodge. I guess this background works for us though. It's like Star Wars-y, Star Trek.
It's fake Lolz.
It's fake Lolz anyways.
So
yeah,
we've got a new tool in the space. Karane's sidekick, the legendary upside sidekick. Basically a very advanced version of the draft caddy or of the easy sheet. It still doesn't draft for you. That is very much against the terms of service on Underdog. And there was a little bit of chatter, complaint like, oh, this solves the games. It's like, it's too much. And this is where I've landed. Unless you can just enter 150 puppies and walk away, I don't care. Or maybe I care a little bit because someone could theoretically not know anything about football or best ball or anything and draft like teams that are not dead. So the amount of non-dead teams in the pool changes your expected value to some degree. But it's not as long as it doesn't approximate the DFS problem, which is, I mean, this is like a 10-year-old thing, but like, Phil Ivey can't sit down and play 2-5 no limit. It's not worth his time. But you and Nerdy Tenor or whatever, you guys can 150 max the $5, $10, $20, whatever you want at the click of a button.
Right. We have Shady booked for next week, I think, actually, on Real Lulz. So
yeah,
probably talk about it there as well. Obviously this is a competitor to the draft caddy. One interesting thing, I mean, there's a lot to talk about here, but I want to say this before I forget. I watched their initial stream, where they kind of rolled it out, and it kind of seemed like they were downplaying it a little bit, like its capabilities. I couldn't really tell, but because I think I know why. And I don't think the reason was like, the casual watcher won't understand, right? I think it was they don't want it to be that good because then Underdog will ban it. Because with the draft caddy, when the draft caddy came out, remember when Chess Liam was just like crying about it on Twitter and in our chat and emailing you Underdog.
Sure.
Why didn't he do it again this time? I hope he was, because I want any competitor, please, Chess Liam, go after them. But it didn't seem like there's that much complaining about it this time. But when that first came out, that was a big concern. Like, what are you doing? What's going on behind the, in the algorithm and stuff like that.
Right.
And like with mine, there's settings that it's more like what was it, Fantasy Labs before, where they had the sliders.
Yeah.
It's more like that where you control it. And so, like, in my mind, like, what do they have to complain about? Where I felt it was kind of like a smart auto drafter. Their auto drafter is dumb as fuck and no one would use it. It's really bad. Right?
Correct.
You're just gonna make horrible teams with
you'll just have dead teams.
You'll just have dead teams. So it's like a smart version of that makes solid teams, and you can adjust a lot of different settings to kind of get your style out of it. And I figured that's like enough for them to like leave it. And it was like, we've had it for a couple of years now, and they seem fine with it. We could make it way more complicated, right? And we have ideas too. I have ideas, and I talked with other smart people. That's not going to be in this Korean one. But like, why spend all that money when Underdog doesn't want that? And
when they
just change their mind and go, now we're not going to allow any of these, and I'm just holding the bag on $10,000 in coding fees. So
it's a real concern. And the thing I would be more concerned about, I mean, this doesn't impact me that much because I don't play a ton of the dailies, but a very good tool for the dailies would completely solve that game. I mean, they would be unplayable. The NBA baseball dailies, basically.
Well, yeah, maybe it's definitely the showdowns. Definitely the showdowns versions, because there's less variables.
Less variables.
Yeah, I think the concern, and this is a concern with the BBMs too, is you're gonna make a whole bunch of guys who at least aren't losing to the Rake.
I think that's where the calculation has changed. Now, I think Karain did a good job, like charging enough. Like, I think the BBM pool is 668,000 total entries. I mean, what percentage of those entries, like, let's not even say a tool, what percentage of those entries are even drafting off good ranks, like Establish the Run, Legendary Upside, My Rankings, how many? Like 25% of the entries, maybe 30? Even that might be high.
Well, if you're going to buy one of these tools, so like my tool, you can upload Karain's rankings and it'll draft off those. You could upload ETRs, you can average them, you can put them, do whatever you want. So like, and people who buy the tool, probably 70% of them are capable of doing that. I would guess. I don't know, maybe not. But like, can we talk about the price a little bit? I think it's $199. They're doing $199, right? A month.
$199 a month, $499 for a year. And they're doing a flash sale on it, so it's $399 right now.
So like, I would imagine somebody hears that $200 a month for this tool, like, fuck no. Like, that's too high. That would be my guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could have released it cheaper and gotten more sales, but I think they did the calculus that the people who really wanted to buy it would pay $199, $399, whatever. And it's better to have the people who really want it. Because the thing you don't want in the fantasy space a lot of the time is the disloyal customer. The person who's like, oh, this is a good deal, I'll try it out. And then just ends up like complaining, leaving, like not willing to work with you. You know what I mean? Like just not willing to work with you at all as a consumer.
Right. Yeah. And I'm not even like complaining about the price. I'm saying, like, even if you made it $10, most people are gonna be like, oh, I don't want to pay $10 a month. You know what I mean? I'm saying that. So like $199 for sure. Like plenty of people will say no, but from experience from the draft caddy, they had to do that just to make money on it. So like, I'm assuming with Shady and who's the other guy involved? Easy, I think.
Sacrilegious.
No, sacrilegious. He's probably got to pay these guys. So,
I know for a fact he is paying them.
Right, and Karain can't code, I'm assuming, and
correct.
So, just like the draft caddy doesn't really make any money. So like 25 was too low. It should probably be 50 minimum to like make any money, and even then, you're gonna lose subs because it's a higher price point. So like. They kind of have to price it at 200 just to make it even worth their time at all. Assuming they care about making money. Like if they
I
don't,
mean,
then
I mean, don't let me speak for Crane because I can't know, but I think the idea is like you get it built and it becomes a moneymaker in the future that people have success with it, whatever, people like it. And then it's around for the playoffs. It's around for next season. Like you can update it, you can change things to it, but it's not a starting from zero process. And if for Crane, Crane is doing this model where he's starting a site. Like it is a fantasy football site, not like what Gretsch does, which is just like that's his, it's a blog. I mean, it's a Substack, so it's like his thoughts, his rankings, his notes, everything going on, but it's not a site. There are no tools, there's no optimizer, it's just you subscribe to this and I help you in your fantasy football league. Whereas Crane is trying to build a larger thing. And if you are going to try and build a larger thing and have employees and try and have a business, you're going to have some kind of tool.
Maybe. But I wanted to roll back. You said, don't let me speak for Crane. Like this, we're doing fake lulls here. So the whole point is to act like we know what people are thinking and,
okay.
and guess. And I'll ask Pete, I'll like, do you know about this thing going on in Underdog behind the scenes? And he's like, no. I'm like, perfect. Then we can talk about it on lulls. We can guess on what they're thinking. Because if he actually knows, then it's not interesting.
Then it's not fun.
Right. And it's not fun. We're speculating here. Entertainment purposes only. But like I kind of think the opposite a little bit. Like the tools cost a shit ton of money. So like the Gretsch model, like, I kind of like because it's low maintenance. He gets every dollar.
Well, you don't though, because Substack rakes 10% in perpetuity forever. And you also lose a haircut to the payment processor. I actually just looked at my I actually just looked at my Patreon. Because I really haven't thought about this in a long time. And I started doing the
20, right?
Here, let's see. I will, we're on fake Lolz. So June 2024, it's in progress, right? I've got $1,200 in gross revenue, but my earnings is $1,071. $1,071. So that's
15% or something.
That's rough. Yeah, combined with the platform fee, the payment fee was $64. The platform fee is $60. So
yeah,
it's either way you're taking a haircut, and I think that's why you want to do another thing that Crane is doing and that these other sites are doing. It's like when you build your own site, you take less of a haircut. You put the money up front. Like I looked at Ghost.io is like a kind of all-in-one website, newsletter, payment, like all that, and it is expensive. It is here. We can pull it up. We can really get I mean, I'm assuming people really do want us to get inside baseball.
Why not? Go for it.
Okay, so if you have an audience, if you get 5,000 people signed up to your website, and this includes free members, right? You're going to be paying them $65 a month. So do that math out. That is not nothing. That is what, $800 a year or something like that. Is that math? That's about right. But if you get to 10,000, you're paying them $1,300 a year. And that's only at their creator level, not like a team member or a business level. If you're at a business level, you're paying them like $4,000 a year.
Payment processor, there's nothing you could do about it no matter what you do. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing is a different topic for maybe later in the show or a different show, but it's a racket, right? Visa, MasterCard, the processing fees, it's all, you're going to be paying, 4% or whatever, no matter what. Whether you want to go to Substack or Patreon, like that's your call, but you don't have to. I'm just saying, like, compared to tools, in our space, optimizers, any of these new stuff, ship breaks, you got to pay.
Correct. Yes.
Come up with a new idea, got to pay. Need to tweak an old idea, got to pay. And I know, other sites, I won't name some of them, a little bit smaller than the big ones. Like they're constantly, paying their coder to to work on something, and then you have to like, okay, do I want to upgrade the auto drafter, or do I just want to make like the overlay look cooler and stuff like that, or maybe more numbers on the overlay, because you can't afford both. You know what I mean? Like, because like if like at $25, if you put up if you make a small change, let's say that costs you $200-$300 in coding, you know, just small. Well, that's like what? I got to get like 10 subs now just to break even. You know, this is probably not it's just cool, and the current subs might be more likely to stay, you know, stuff like that. But like, if you just make a YouTube video or write an article or do, you know, there's no cost to that really besides your own time.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, and my experience in working in all these websites, you know, I've worked for like every fantasy website there is at some point or another. The new thing, not only is it costly, not only is it stressful launching it, but it always breaks when it launches. Like it always, and so like you lose some of the momentum, like, oh, everyone's clicking on our link. Oh, no, they can't get in, they can't subscribe. And then, you know, some percentage of people, maybe 7 of the people would have like had their credit card out, ready to upgrade their membership, right? And then it breaks, and then they never come back to it. And then their memory in the future is, oh, I tried to use that thing and it didn't work, so I'm just never gonna subscribe. I'm never gonna pay for it.
This is another thing with the $200 is it's not for the masses, so you don't get the dummies, which like waste your time with customer service questions. And now maybe you have to hire someone for your forums. Maybe you're spending more time answering questions that like you already did a video on that they didn't look up, didn't bother looking up or whatever, or see your pinned comments. They don't know how pinned comments work, you know, all stuff like that. It eliminates like another thing. I think they do a $10. It was like $10 trial. Like you could use it. I'm pretty sure
it was. They might have. I know it was free for everyone who's already subscribed for like a week. Like everyone got to test it out.
That makes sense. But I swear they did like a $10 because I did a 2-day free.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I was just like, buy it or don't, because it's not, because what happens with the 2-day free is now it's open for the masses for 2 days, essentially. And so then you get like people who don't really care. Not, you know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I'm just going to cancel it anyways. All right, I'll try it out. And it's like, oh, I don't know how this works. Let me ask questions and blah, blah, blah. You know, you don't know how many times I get like emails and messages and stuff. And then the dude quits like a day and a half in. It's like, you like just the 40 minutes I spent with you is worth more than $25.
Is gone. Yeah. It's gone. It's gone forever.
So So like if I could go back, I would probably do things differently. You said there too, like it's a long-term winner. Maybe, but I think that's kind of a myth a little bit. Like they always seem to break. Stuff changes, your website changes. There's like new protocols and stuff. Like now we got to upgrade, you know.
Well, I mean, he and his business partners will be like, it's going to be bad for them if they just decide that all this stuff is terms of service violations, you know, that'll just be an L that I don't know what you do with.
I mean, that's another one. But like, if he did get these 2 guys and then he's given them a cut, this would be my guess. And if you know
that is the case. I do know the details.
Okay. See, that's not as fun. See, it's not as fun when you know the actual behind the scenes. That would have been my guess and that's the way to do it, because you want them invested, obviously, in your incentives aligned.
I actually already had a person message me to see if they could invest in whatever, like if I end up doing my own
davismatic.org.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is actually, while I'm sitting here with you, I'm checking domain names. This might be a good topic for Fake Lolz. I checked I know ball. And iknowball.com is taken, but iknowball.xyz is not. And I'm wondering, that's the thing, is I wonder, do people care about that, or is the .com, like, is it relatively important?
I don't like it, but I don't know if it actually matters. I was thinking about this before this show actually yesterday, what you should do with that. And I was thinking if you're planning to sell it eventually, like if that's kind of a hope, maybe one day this will be a nice business that I could sell for $10 million, just like
I don't think that. I don't think
then I
so.
would just go davismanic.com.
I already own that.
Yeah, keep it and just own it. Own you're the brand. But if you're gonna sell it, then you can't do osmo.com. You got to change it to Socastic because Osmo is not going to be there forever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't envision myself in any scenario. And again, this might all be premature. I might have a call this week and be like, I'm taking a full-time job with whoever.
I know, we're just speculating.
Yeah, we are just speculating. So I think the issue you have with davismatic.com is it's like there's like no SEO value in that. There's no there's no
there is.
Like
because everyone's it's just like golf instructors. Like that, I was watching like a Brian Manzella video, and he tells all the people, all the like coaches who take lessons from him, on like business strategies. He goes, own your name. Don't do like holein1.com. He goes, just put your name on there, and you'll always be out because they're looking for you for the golf instructor, and it's kind of the same thing in this.
It's like it like is the exact same thing. I just worry like the thing I'm thinking is then like, okay, what do I call the Discord? What do you call the podcast? Like, do I do the Davis Matic Fantasy Football Podcast? Like, maybe. I think maybe you do. Yeah.
And it's good SEO. I think you're wrong. Like, because you're going to be on an ETR show. You're going to be on Ship Chasing. You're going to be, do stuff with me and everyone's going to be like, oh, Davis Matic. What was his site? Well, let me just type in Davis Matic.
Yeah.
And then it'll be everywhere.
I mean, it's definitely possible. And I could I could do, if I did do a Substack or whatever, I could just have it redirect there. Like davismatic.com just redirects to my Substack or whatever.
It's already a brand. It's already Twitter. You're not joining with anyone else. If you're joining someone else, then you got to come up with a name.
No. Yeah. In my perfect world, Corain would be rich enough to just hire me, or I would be rich enough to be a co-owner with Corain. I mean, that would be like in my perfect world, it would be because like Pat is like my best friend in fantasy football. Like I just I love doing shows with him, love doing content with him. We're very aligned, but it just, it just didn't exactly work out. But he had the foresight, right? He had the foresight to realize what he wanted to do and that it wasn't just going to be his own thing.
He knew DeMar Hamlin was going to have a heart attack on the that's amazing. He can really predict things.
That was in the projections. Do you not know? Do you not know ball?
That you guys would have been perfect to start a company together. And then Legend, like he clearly looks like he wants to, try to like build it out and become like a company. So Legendary Upside as a name makes sense compared to Pat Corain. And I would argue like you have more name recognition already anyways, than he does. Yeah. But I think kind of my point here is just like people default go, oh, I'm starting a business. What am I going to name it? Well, maybe you should just name it Davis Matic. You know what I mean? Davis Matic LLC is perfectly fine. Everyone's looking for that anyways. You don't need some catchy fun name. Did you see Travis Petty bought brainoversims.com?
No, but that's I like that. Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking initially, was like vibes based, like vibes something. like that was like what I was searching for domains for, but nothing sounded that good.
Vibes based DFS, vibes based, yeah.
Vibes based ball, something like that.
Another thing along with the tools being a problem, Sims and all that shit being a huge undertaking, is like comparing it to season long football and basketball is just like, it's so much easier to just do season long and basketball than like NBA DFS. NBA DFS is 100 times harder.
Like what Adam is doing, like what Ship My Money is doing, that is like, he is going to have no gas left in his tank soon. Like that, what he is trying to do is so hard.
But this is what he's been doing for like 10 years. He used to do a show every day on Stochastic and
I guess. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's kind of one of the things is like, do I really want to be doing like February 13th NBA DFS shows? And like, I think the answer for Adam might be yes, but for me, maybe not.
Yeah, but even like leaving people's personal opinion, like personal, like whether they can do it or not, or work ethic aside, it's just factually way more work. Like we know it's a fact that it's way more work to do MLB or NBA DFS than season
Yes.
long. But season long can make you plenty of money as a content
There
creator.
are 500x season long fantasy football players than people who play one NBA DFS slate in a season.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, this is conversations we've had behind the scenes. It's like, should we do I should learn how to turn off notifications on my Discord, but we do like how much content are we going to do with NBA and MLB? Are we just going to focus on NFL for like ownership or something like that if we end up doing that? In addition, like this, the main idea is obviously like the card runners and instructional
Model.
videos and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. But if we want to add on stuff, and like that is the main question is can you handle NBA and MLB? Can we all handle it? And also, if we do tools, then that's a whole nother customer service and putting it together and making sure it's really good. Because we wouldn't do contest sims because they're already out there. Like, why compete with every single company?
Yeah,
now?
why do another version of the same thing?
Right, and we have ideas that we could do. We think we could do something cooler anyway. So like, but then now we got to do it all from scratch. If you don't get a coder, so like him getting shady and sacrilegious was super helpful for him. So he lucked out there. But honestly, I know it's a competitor to Draft Caddy, but like I think I kind of like what their decisions at the like price point. If I'm right on the $10 trial thing, I think is smart. Doing a rev share with two coders.
I think that is like going to be the best decision that he ends up making is having a rev share with people who know how to fix it when it breaks.
And play.
And play. That is like that's like the trifecta of things that is impossible to hit. Right. Like we totally skipped over that, but that is like the hardest thing in the space is to find someone who knows how to code, knows how to do all that, is incentivized to make the thing work, and plays the game. Or knows sports at all. Not even plays the game, but just knows sports at all. Because
yeah, definitely. Like probably 95% of the coders I've talked to since like even before Draft Caddy and Lolz and all that stuff, like my own stuff, no clue.
No clue.
Out of country, no idea about American sports. I would be like, do you know in cricket, like the guy hits the ball? It's just like that kind of.
It's just like that.
Man, I had a point there that I lost. That what were you talking about there? Sacrilegious and the best, players. So here's a bad thing for Best Ball Bros. Is the reason like Nerdy Tenor is gonna do a video, like trying to solve certain best ball formats. And I'm guessing if Shady ends up coming on our pod, he's gonna say the reason he's doing this video is because it's best ball and it's not DFS and it's not like he can't get down. He can't sit there and draft for 800 hours to get down the amount of money he needs to get, the whatever, the equity, the ROI, the money to make it worth his while. So this is a way he could still play and make some money off of it by making tools for people because it doesn't care. So the point being there is you're going to get a lot of smart guys more willing to give up good strategy in best ball. And so, which is not good for you. Right.
So like, I think that's true to an extent, but the extent is kind of the gray area because what does it even really matter if some people know how to play the game? They also might be being based off faulty assumptions. We've only had 5 slates and the slates are going to change. Like, do you think football right now is going to look the same in 3 years. Like there will be rule changes in the NFL. There will be discrepancies that makes the data set different. I mean, you know this from doing baseball coding, but like the super happy fun ball year, guess what? Your sims and your shit would not have worked because it was operating off faulty assumptions. The data set would have been wrong and led you to make minus EV decisions because the model was wrong.
Well, without arguing like minute like details like that, I would still say it's bad by default because smart people adjust, and you're going to get smart people willing to get into that.
I got a pee, so you got a vamp about this.
Okay, go pee. So I mean, it's good. It's actually a good time to pee because I completely disagree with he's mentioning like that your data set for your predictions is wrong. You have to like know ball to notice that there's going to be a lot of steals now in MLB and stuff like that, and so it's all faulty. There's all sorts of flaws in that, but that's not even kind of the point. The main point is that I think it's fairly obvious is that the incentive for like a smart person who's good at games can learn how to to put together like a game theory sim or contest sim or however they want to beat best ball or an auto drafter for themselves. They're going to be less incentivized to keep that information to themselves. And then therefore, even when these things Davis is talking about, like these changes happen in sports and ball and stuff like that, you still have this cohort of smart guys who can adjust quicker than everyone else, who can come up with new and better things faster than everyone else by definition because they're smart. More willing to do this type of public work in best ball than sports betting, DFS, even poker.
But what is incentivizing really smart people to play these games, though? That's kind of the difference. Is like, what is incentivizing Nerdy Tenor to play these games? What is incentivizing Osmo to play these games? Because it's not enough money. How much money if you entered everything, every high stakes contest, everything that you can max? How much could you get down? Like 50,000, 60,000 if you just did everything.
If that, and that's with like working full time because it takes an hour to do one draft.
Yeah.
So but I mean, I do think they're like I was really good at Madden back in the day, right? And there was no prize. I spent countless hours figuring that dumb fucking game out. So there is a type of person I know Nerdy applies to it. I would guess Alex and Shady too, if that's who we're talking about right here, that likes learning how to beat games.
Totally.
And they're probably competitive when they play Trivial Pursuit, even, shit like that. Who knows? Or they just like, they see a game and they go, oh, like what, I know how to beat this game. What can I use for this knowledge to beat this game? And then, oh, this is a little different this way. How can I adjust here? So I think there's that aspect, but it is still money. I mean, it's like it's not as
it's a great way to punt off $40,000 because you have to all-time sun run. Even if you drafted 99th percentile teams all the time, every contest that all goes your way, you're still a dog to make money just because of how variant it is.
Right. Well, just like in DFS for sure, but the or like large field poker too. But the daily stuff, battle royale and whatever they call them, the showdown version for Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you could grind those. That's a realistic thing.
You could. I mean, I wonder, like, just like how viable are all those contests, like 8K to first. Like I know Underdog has like a real set of like hardcore fans. But would your time and mental energy be better spent perfecting that, or just running more sims for DraftKings and FanDuel where you can win 50,000, 100,000 every night?
Yeah, I mean, clearly it seems like they have enough time for both since they're doing both. So, I mean, and who knows where it'll come from too. Like it's just I think it's just undeniable fact that because it takes hours to do drafts,
Yep.
there's more of a realistic chance that somebody who wouldn't give away good information will give away good information. And then it takes so long to get paid out, like especially for the season long stuff, it all happens in the off season, a lot of this stuff too. So, I mean, I'm not like saying best ball's dead or anything. I mean, it is so.
I think it's couldn't be further from dead. I think it's the least solved game that you can win $1 million playing in the United States right now.
Probably, yeah, maybe.
And the rake is really low. The rake is really low in these contests because it's a customer acquisition tool for Underdog and for DraftKings. Like they do not rake these contests high at all comparatively.
Yeah.
Like the rake on all the big contests is like 10.5%. It might be more on DraftKings.
Do you think that's a problem? Like eventually, not the low rake, obviously.
The customer acquisition.
I'm not trying to do Negreanu on you. No, kind of the customer acquisition, but the point that they're just like kind of the smart player who's giving away information because they can't get down. The company also can't get down because everyone takes an hour to do a draft and there's only so many times you can do. They can't, you know what I mean? Like how the off season for best ball is like 2 NFL weekends for DraftKings. The entire everything.
You are missing the forest for the trees. You get them on the site and then you get them doing pick'ems.
But this is also your argument for why DFS is dying. To get them on the site, you got it on DraftKings, but now you don't need it. You don't need fantasy anymore because they'll just sports bet.
Are you asking me if I think DraftKings is going to get rid of best ball?
No, I'm saying you have said multiple times to me on multiple podcasts that fantasy is going to be or is less popular because now people can sports bet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the difference is like Underdog is like very philosophically committed to fantasy, even if it's not their biggest draw. Like they clearly are, they have employees who are clearly passionate about it. I think Jeremy's pretty passionate about it. Like I believe Star Street was his first business. He might have had another one before that, but like and Underdog likes to be known, as a company that like has good relationships with its customers and care. Like, they have these, Hope and Numi, and they're like, what kind of contest do you guys want? Like they do a lot of sponsorships. They do a lot of influencer deals. Like they like to be, part of the community.
Sure. So that's just because they're not big enough to do otherwise. If they were DraftKings size, they might be like, sorry, send it to customer support. I don't know. I think the logic that if you think that fantasy is less popular because of sports betting applies even more to best ball because they can't even get the amount of players and amount down that DraftKings can in fantasy in like 2 days worth of big slates in the entire best ball off season. So, I mean, because that's what I want. I want best ball to scale more because I think it's like the closest form to like poker you can do, like to get popular because it's better visual. It's better on YouTube. You're playing against somebody. All these things are great. Like you could even live stream a best ball draft with a bunch of people in person and it'd be entertaining. DFS is a bunch, instead of 10 nerds, arguing at a best ball draft, it's 10 nerds with their head down on a laptop. That's not entertaining.
Yeah. DFS never translated as well to an entertainment product at all. Yeah. Right. Whereas best ball, I mean, that's Pete's whole brand. Like this
is an argument. Pete, I think maybe you won't like this. People won't like this. This is an argument to make these auto drafters full auto on Underdog.
Just to fill more,
to fill shit.
I don't think they have a problem with filling stuff. Like anytime they release a contest, it like fills super. Like they just released a puppy like 2 days ago. It's like 30% full. Best Ball Mania is going to fill early.
I think they're doing really well, but you can always do better. And to get to the huge scale of where, they could do super fast drafts.
Oh, I would love that 10-second clock.
Yeah, stuff like that. And
fuck, I would love that.
Who knows what they could do? They could do a whole bunch of stuff. But like the point being is most of DraftKings and poker is the regs filling the tables to make it happen. And if you allow the full auto, you're going to get a whole shit ton more regs to fill tables. That's exact. Like you might get a cash game environment where there is no cash game environment right now, right? Like barely at all.
A little bit closer to the season, people start doing them, I think. But
even
yes,
then,
no one is doing $25 3-man best ball drafts at all.
Yeah, well, 3-man you shouldn't do, period, just to protect yourself. But actually, can you cheat in best ball? That's a different story. But
how could you cheat in best ball? I don't really think you could.
Well, no,
see your opponent's cue.
If that was true, then they would never get rid of drafts. They would never.
I bet that's a regulatory. Oh yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, they would never throw them out.
Yeah, because they're colluding. But I'm not sure it's definitely not like DFS. So
yeah, you can. Yeah, you could cheat. I mean, I guess theoretically.
No, yeah, you could. Yeah, because no, it's I guess you could have one guy trying to screw the other guy, like trying to mess up with his stacks, whatever you can.
Yeah.
And then if you're like next to each other in the draft, you could maybe like collude and go like, no, don't take him. He's perfect for my team. Stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know. There's probably some stuff you could do that, but it's not as good as DFS 3-man cheating though. I would imagine. I haven't really thought about it much, but yeah, you just always have to be aware that someone's trying to cheat you.
Someone's trying to cheat you.
Someone's out there is trying to fuck you over. So just be aware of it.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing about you. Like, let's say theoretically you did 150 set and you just got to take whatever player you wanted. Everyone else was drafting UFL players, like round 900 guys. So your 150 set was like the perfect combination of correlated. Like you basically got to enter in DFS lineups with no salary of 18-man rosters. How often do you think you win first place?
So this is I'm lost here. So the contest is on Underdog.
You're in Best Ball Mania 5 normal contest. All the other 600,000 entries are normal draft,
I got you.
Everything, but you get the perfect 150 set of whoever you want.
Whoever I want. Yeah. So I get 150 Christian McCaffreys, just like whatever. Like if
Christian
I want
McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Josh Allen. Yeah.
And what is the odds of winning it? So we know making the finals I saw was like 0.8% chance, right?
Yes, correct.
So like if I get to pick whoever I wanted, let's say that bumps that up to probably a couple percent.
To win or to
get to that finals. To get to that
finals. You're probably, I think to get to the finals, you're probably I don't know, 5%, 3%, something like that to get a team to the finals.
That sounds fair. The point being, it's still hard, very hard, because you're way more likely to get out of your 12-man pod.
You're like super likely because the other teams in your 12-man are like dead because they're just letting you take whoever you want. They like, let's just pretend those are dead teams. So you're like 100%. You get 150.
Okay, so you got 150
to the quarterfinal. But then you probably like, so what, like 25% make it out of the quarterfinals? No, less than that.
What is it? Like roughly? It doesn't matter.
Two teams, 2 of 16 teams.
Oh, okay, way less than that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would probably, to get out of there, then let's say you're like double or triple that.
Yeah, I think you're like.
So you got like, let's say 30% of your teams left.
So I mean, it could be more, it could be less. Yeah, 30% seems like 1 out of every 3, 33%, something like that.
Yeah, which is still very good in a GPP, even with good players.
Yeah, that's still super high.
Yeah, because you got to imagine, like, if you took McCaffrey in 150 and he gets injured, like that happens in some of these, simulations.
Correct.
Yeah, so like a lot of times you're going to be 2% out of there, because your teams actually didn't turn out to be that good.
Right. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, McCaffrey gets injured that week. I mean, you're just
yeah,
you're
I
just
mean
boned.
you definitely would have to think about some portfolio management on this 150 because you don't want to just die there. Although maybe I don't know.
So this is
Yeah,
just this is a toy game, like for thinking about why you would not sweat that much about the great, like let's say their God was the best ball
yeah.
YouTuber, and he gave it all for free, and he was giving perfectly omniscient structural, player take or whatever. It still wouldn't meaningly alter the team's or your expected value that much.
I I hear you. I think you're right. I think people still don't care though. I think it's just this unfairness. So like you're saying you don't care. You don't care about the Crane tool.
No, I really don't. I really
Yeah.
don't. And in fact, I maybe I'll end up being an affiliate for the Crane tool, and people will and maybe people will be coming to davismanic.com to get an affiliate link to the Sidekick.
So I mean, I generally kind of agree with what you're saying, but I think people don't care. They just because it's unfair kind of you didn't put in the work like I did. Or they're unaware of it. I think those are all the complaints people have about the automation. If I've said this before and I'll say it again, I think Underdog they should allow full auto, but they should only allow like approved what's it called? Tools.
Yeah.
So you can't make your own, right? Like they'll ban you if you make your own. They'll ban companies that make it that aren't approved. And then they go, here's what you can do. You can use these rankings. You can make your own custom rankings. Whatever they feel comfortable with. I don't know where that line is for them, but it's
Right.
like this far, no further. And then once you put that out into the public, then everyone knows the rules of the game, and anyone else is cheating. So if anyone really tries to make a stud, again, this is why I said I think on that Endgame stream, I think they're soft playing some of the stuff they put in the background because they don't want it to be that good.
It's possible. I mean, I think it would behoove them, I believe, to like make it as impressive as possible where they're trying to generate sales. But yeah, I mean, it's possible. Like what you're saying is definitely possible.
I don't know. It's been a while since I talked to like Rudman and them, but like they do not want. I did not get the impression that they want a very smart tool out there that's that good. Even if you're having to click the name, I don't think that's what they want. Maybe they've changed their position in there, but like that would be my opinion. Would be I like the idea, and if you don't agree with the full auto, don't agree with the full auto. But I think in this world, which I've been in for friggin' 20 years almost, the regulars are the ones that make the games go. And so you want a shit ton of them. And by making some full auto too, because you could also like, even you, Davis, you can like, I gotta go to the Ace Hardware to pick up something. I'm just gonna click the full auto on so I can go and come back and then finish the draft. Or you know what I mean? Your wife calls and you need something, and then you just turn on the full auto and then go do your whatever chore you gotta do for 20 minutes and come back, right? Like they don't even have that option. So like you like 100% certain you're gonna be at your computer for an hour right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't have that. So I would go for the full auto, and then I would just go like have an internal meeting and like watch the content of what the tools do. There's Pete. Me and Pete did shows. Pat, I'm sure they're going to do a bunch of shows on it, and then go. We want this. That you can do this. You can do this. You can do that. Can't do that. Everyone else is cheating, and you will be banned if you make your own automation tool. And then also what you'll do is you'll stop a lot of bros from making their own automation tool because they'll be like, I'll just use SaberSim. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll just pay the $200. and I won't even bother trying to make my own. This is good enough. That's the direction I would go. But they know their business better than me. So who knows their reasoning? But yeah, that's what I would do.
I mean, I would be curious if someone came to them, like let's say Roto Grinders came to them or something and was like, all right, we want to develop a tool with you at Underdog. Like we want every step of the way, we want to check it with you and make sure that you're okay with it, what their response would be.
I mean, I told them I'd give them the code. I'm like, here, take the code, look at it, see if you don't like anything in there. I don't care. So yeah, now I think they're more because like the release of this one seemed like it got a lot less negative attention than mine. I don't know. Maybe I guess since it was happening,
you're not a good guy like Corain.
They just go, oh, you little rat scallion.
Like literally, yeah. No, it is. It's that Corain is just a very he's just a beloved, well-known member in the community, and people are like, Brick, he just takes all my money, and that's all the dude ever does.
No, I think I'm more like a civil rights leader, like a hero who broke, the mold, and then it was easier for people later on.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know if the market would agree about that.
So he owes me. I should get a cut.
I have a sense the market does not agree with that take. But what do I know?
The market's wrong.
Yeah. I think that if Corain's tool succeeds, though, I don't know how many competitors there will be, if that makes sense. Like it's like what is Spike Week? What is Stochastic? Like, what do any of these places care about developing a competing tool when it's like already kind of a captured market? Because the market of people who want to pay $500 for a best ball tool, I mean, it's pretty small, relatively speaking, I would think.
Yes, I think there's two ways to do it. Well, you just the one is you just make your tool and you try to make a better tool. I don't think that works. I think the other way is like you tell them what they want.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way I think works best. Like that Henry Ford quote that he didn't really do, but I always use is if I asked the customer what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Is the same thing. Like people didn't know they wanted week 17 correlation. People didn't know, everyone knew bye weeks, stuff like that, but they didn't know about week 17 playoffs, week 16. Although if you think about it, it should come to you naturally. Portfolio management, ownership and DFS, dupes and DFS. You tell them Sims and DFS.
That's such a great point. Yeah. No one would have been doing any of this without being told.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And not only just being told, if we didn't talk about Simbro on every podcast we did for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yours, ours, fucking, I'm sure you talked about it on Swolecast and others. Everyone started talking about Simbro versus Ball Nowhere. Then they wouldn't even bother to make. First of all, they wouldn't have known. And then now they know. And then they're like, oh shit, this is popular. Let's make it because a lot of people will buy it. Right. So but if we didn't lay that groundwork, not like we were consciously doing it, but if we weren't constantly talking about Simbros and shit like that, they probably never would have made it because then there wouldn't have been a huge base for it. So, but the point being there, you could do another tool if you get something where you tell them, no, this is what.
This is why this is the tool. This is why you shouldn't use our competitor's tool. This is why you have to use this tool.
And I have, what's the chess guy? Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah.
Or whatever. He told me he's on our team. He's developing, I'm just making up a name. But whoever the next best ball, it's going to be tough too without winning the Best Ball Mania to be like the king best ball guy. There's no Roto Grinders rankings. There's no cash games. It's hard to get down volume. So there'll be a lot of bullshit going on in best ball for a while.
Yeah. That's why Corain was so smart to launch a site. Like, who cares if if you just got lucky to win once, like no one's taking
Yeah.
it away. You don't have to give the championship trophy back. You don't have to give the belt back, yeah, because the best is the person who wins, right? I mean, that's life.
Yeah. And he was pretty popular before and chip chasing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it made total, and it clearly seems like he wants to like make it better and put in effort and stuff like that. Where some people, like, remember when Sahil Sud went to like
player IQ or whatever.
Player IQ, yeah, whatever it was called. Like clearly he just wanted, give me a check, I'll put my name on it.
Yeah.
I'll make 3 stupid little videos where I don't give away anything, if he even knew anything besides coding, who knows.
Yeah.
And I'm out of here. These are two different ways to go about your fame. Yeah, well, so I don't know. I would like to know. Maybe I will. I'm banking on Chess Liam throwing a hissy fit and getting that banned. That's kind of my hope. Is they banned Crane's tool, so I don't have any competition.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
And then if it doesn't happen, I think I'll ask Rudman, okay, what are the rules here then? Like, how advanced can I go? Because I still use it myself and I don't want to, sit there the whole time. So, or think about it. I'm going to browse the internet and work while I'm drafting, and I'll go back and there'll be a player, ready
for you to click. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to me, it's appealing to use the sidekick because I could also just do a shit ton of slow drafts and just not have to like look and think about the team. I could just like go to my computer every 7 hours and be like, all right, boom, know exactly what I'm taking.
What's the difference between a normal draft and that? I see the same appeal.
What do you mean?
Like I could just go, who am I taking?
Yeah.
Click. With a normal draft.
You could, but you wouldn't have someone telling you the math-based reason to take that.
If you have the sidekick, you would, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the sidekick I think would be useful for that because I could get through like 50 picks in like 3 minutes for slow drafts.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah. Well, the multi-tabling then would be a corollary. If you're going to multi-table fast drafts, that would also be helpful, which is another reason why I added that stuff to the draft caddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Why don't we wrap this up?
I gotta bounce.
Yeah. Let's bounce. You have nothing to show.
The Patreon. I've put a podcast up every day this week. I mean, ultimately, whatever ends up happening, the Patreon is still going to be. They're going to get bonus episodes. They're going to get ad-free episodes. They're going to be able to get into the Discord. So regardless of whatever ends up happening with me, in fact, that might end up being the most cost-efficient way to support yours truly. So if you're listening to this, watching this, that's how you can support right now.
We'll put the link in the description too. And if they like Star Wars, we got a big Star Wars podcast we're gonna have to do.
I've not watched this episode yet.
I watched it.
Yeah. So shit. We're about to find out.
And I got 3 shills now. So Draft Caddy, thedraftcaddy.com, Endgame Syndicate. We just started up. Me, Utica, Nerdy Tenor, Shit My Money, and Lolz. We'll be back next week on Pete's channel with real Lolz with I think Shady Advice. Hopefully I'm not wrong there.
Bang,
All
bang.
right.